Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. In the group stages of Team Liquid Starleague 9, a Terran versus Protoss, a matchup that has produced some of the most dramatic and exciting games. I expect nothing less from these two. Let me introduce, from the relatively newly formed Team Onside Gaming, teammates with Neeb. Of all people, we have the Terran, the man, the myth, the Maru. Always keeping things interesting and setting an unrealistic standard for the rest of Terrans throughout StarCraft 2 history. He is a pretty unstoppable force, but he's up against a bit of an immovable object. I was about to say the most stable, consistent, like macro Protoss, which we'll pretend is the case unless we have a few viewers who actually know how to look at the minimap. But we'll get to that in a moment, after introducing Protoss Showtime, the wall. Now, we've seen him against Maru before. He actually favors the more aggressive strategies, and I think, honestly, against Terran, being proactive, taking the initiative is very important. Otherwise, they're going to run you around. It's a proxy Stargate to kick things off in this best-of-3 Game 1. Proxy Stargate. But a hidden Stargate, not like close enough to do a Void Ray Rush. This is likely for an Oracle to get that Oracle in just seconds before something like a Cyclone. Now, Maru has been favoring the double gas, the heavy tech plays. This is kind of more of a TVT opener, but it allows you to get multiple Reapers, a factory, just in general enough tech units in order to deal with the early game Protoss. And Maru, in general, likes getting anything you can micro. Reapers, Hellions, Cyclones, even Vikings are on the table. The Reapers... Oh! You saw it. Wait. Alright. Maru. I mean, what are you going to do? Kill the pylon? So, he goes by. He definitely saw it. There's no way he didn't, obviously. But he's going straight for the main. Try to get some damage done with the Reapers here, as the Oracle is not something they can fight. But Citizen's Arrest. Showtime. Pulls the probes, loses just one, and shuts down both Reapers and removes that opportunity. Oh, okay, so Showtime has a probe over here. I think this is more for scouting anything trying to sneak out of the base. The Oracle gets in before the command center finishes, but a Cyclone pops out in time to deflect. Okay, alright. Twilight finished, Blink on the way. Maru adding on more Rex behind. Overall, just that single Oracle. So, getting the Oracle is great. Having an Oracle is never a bad thing for Protoss, especially someone like Showtime who's going to keep active on it. But overall, killing an SCV and he's setting up for a potential Blink follow-up. And the Oracle existing gives you high ground vision to potentially blink those Stalkers into the main. And with minimal units like Maru has right now, just Cyclones could easily be overwhelmed, even if slightly out of position. So we will see. The Adepts trying to keep things busy. Showtime with a Stasis Ward. If he could catch the clones right as Blink is finishing, that's all but a free pass into the main base. A Marine and a Widowmine. Just, well, that Marine, I think, well, 1 for vision and 2 to potentially bait in the Oracle. Both sides laying traps for the other. Does Maru see it? Showtime backed off. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was well, not really a mistake so much as a missed opportunity. But he did not need to let that Marine. I guess he's trying to bait the clones out. He's making the most of it here. The Cyclones are chasing. You know what? It's gonna work out. The ultimate mind game. Bring the Adepts in, bait the Cyclones out, show the Adepts to the Marine so the Cyclones come out. I think that's making the most of a mediocre situation But it's gonna work out for Showtime. As he targets down one Marauder, he's burning through Marines. The bunker will finish, but damage has already been dealt. I love Showtime adapting to that. I'm pretty sure he didn't intentionally let the Marine, like, he didn't just want one Marine in the stasis, but it ends up working out just fine for him. Does he see the mine? Oh, no, no, no. The Oracle is the most important thing in the splash damage. Oh, no. The shields are stripped away. Oh. If it had hit a Stalker, fine. But the fact the Oracle dragged the mine over the top of everything? What happened here? 6 probes went down. Was it a Cyclone on the other side? I guess so. On top of those Reapers earlier. 6 probes. There's no medevac. There's no. It must have been the Cyclone. That's the only unit. If the Cyclone got 6... Well, that seems like way more than a single Cyclone should have gotten, but... the numbers don't lie. Yeah, it just walked across or drove across. Ooh. Showtime. What could have been a almost game-winning opportunity is now... It's dicey. As the Blink Stalkers are bruised, a third base was taken, but Maru has medevac stim +1. The worker count isn't incredible for Showtime. The tech isn't really there. Charge isn't even done yet. While Maru isn't necessarily going to break this location, he's definitely in a dangerous position for Showtime to dislodge. That Widow Mine. Well, shield battery finishes. Overcharge can be used. Showtime going to hold on to it for now. No, the Stalkers. That's a lot of Marauders with this army. Trying to drag the Widow Mine, but not this time. He's trying to give Maru a taste of his own medicine. Maru retargets the mine onto the Zealots off of the hallucinated Phoenix. But maybe getting a little too fancy here. Saves 4 Marauders. Gets out. But a lot of little micro plays as these two duel. I think Showtime a little salty about that mine in the main. He does hold. He cut enough probes and focused on production, and he holds. The wall bends, but it does not break. Now going for that +1 attack. Maru's 3rd command center and 2 more racks. The timing is scouted with that hallucinated Phoenix. And that gives Showtime an update on exactly what he needs to be prepared for. I was not prepared for that word. It happens. Double Widow Mine production off the reactor. Are there going to be any cannons? Nothing at the moment. Armory is on the way. No splash damage for Showtime, who's just now adding on a robotics facility. Has he rebuilt an Oracle? No. Wouldn't necessarily be the worst choice. Probes just looking as Maru. At this point, fighting the army heads up is going to be kind of difficult, as just the sheer amount of charge lots, Blink Stalkers, shield battery overcharge. Maru, of course, is going to try to divide and conquer. Just a bunch of Marauders and mines. There's a Marine drop headed towards the main. You know what? Hold on. We're going to the Maru action camp. Into the main, dropping the Marines. Attack at the front, targeting down, brings the Stalkers back. That means the Stalkers are out of position right now. He's actually just targeting probes. I am very... Oh, you know why it didn't look like the camera was moving? Because I actually turned it off. The cam there. He gets another one. Setting up the 3rd. Scanning for units. Oh, Stalkers blink in, but the Widow Mine retargets onto the probes and gets a bunch. 8 total in the last minute. Repositioning. Oh, the Widow Mine retargeting. It's not much, but the details really matter, and Maru's Widow Mine drops are probably the best in the business. A single Marauder, well, very ambitiously stimming into the scouting pylons from Showtime. Robotics Bay is on the way. Single Robo at the moment, so not a huge threat of overwhelming Colossi or Disruptors. Probably a couple Colossi into Disruptors, the usual mix. Showtime hasn't taken a 4th yet, which is a bit concerning for him considering the unit composition, so focused on these earlier game units. But Maru has such an army supply. And he has a very counter-gate army. Everything he has is designed to mitigate and destroy the gateway units that Showtime's focused on. There's Armory Widow Mines. There's a bunch of bio. A focus almost entirely on Marauders. Concussive shells on pretty much everything. And then the Widow Mines get even bigger hits because the Zealots can't move. A tough split here for Showtime. He's actually now down 40 supply as Maru keeps producing. There's no counter damage coming in. There's nothing to slow this down. There's no splash damage from Showtime. How does he dig himself out of this one? Down goes another couple medevacs, but the sheer amount of bio units underneath is devastating at the moment. Shield Battery Overcharge could help. Guardian Shield is something. He overcharges, but Maru's already backed off a bit. The medevac count is too damn high, and Maru's units just aren't... Well, Maru just washes over him. It's not enough. That kind of just battered him down there. I think it comes down to the Widow Mine turning the tides in the main. The Oracle, that was a prime opportunity. A prime opportunity like Amazon Prime to subscribe for free on Twitch. Almost that good and almost that cost effective. As it didn't actually kill anything but the Oracle, but it did deadly damage. And it forced the Blinkstalker attack out of the base, as Widow Mines do extra damage, even the splash damage to shields. So it essentially worked as an EMP on the entirety of the Stalkers. Moondance. Game 2. Maru with a command performance in match 1. That is kind of the Maru we look to see against everyone but maybe Serral or Hero. Yeah, you might get a little lead or you might have a solid early game, but at some point, I'm just going to turn the tables. And it never really felt like Showtime had any opportunity to take the initiative back. 2 gas again. That's just how Maru do. This is kind of one of those don't necessarily try it at home builds, as it's very focused around keeping active units all over the map. It's like juggling flaming swords, but occasionally grabbing one out of the air to throw at your opponent. If you're not juggling them, though, you're not allowed to throw it. So that is kind of the restriction here. AKA, like, if you keep all your units sitting back at home, this is just worse economically. It is the threat of Reapers, the threat of Cyclone, the threat of drops that limits the Protoss. And it's not an empty threat either. If Maru sees weakness, he's going in. And that's the flaming sword part. Of course, if he just loses all his early units, and honestly, it looked like that was what was going to happen last game. Like, he lost the Cyclones, though the one Cyclone got across. He lost the Reapers. Blinkstalker's looking good, but one mine turns things around. No Warp Gate means Stargate. At least the majority of the time. When you delay it like this. He's just going to put in his main. Not getting too crazy on this one. Maru's Reaper coming across. Hellion. Is that a Scoutian? Likely. Likely not going straight for the Hellion drop, as not rushing out the starport. Reaper gets in. Oh, 2 Reapers. 1 Adept, though. There to block. In spirit and in body. Or shade, I guess, is what they call it. Oh, Hellion. Joining up with the Reapers. I'm just so thrown off, because this is like straight up TVT build. Maybe not the Hellion part, but... No, the Hellion's definitely... What am I saying? Maru just using all these early game units. The reason they're so good in TVT is that you don't have any other units that can really put pressure on in the early game. The problem is Reaper, Heli, and a couple of Depths. It doesn't end well for them. He got one probe. He got a full scout. But... oh no. The oldest game... this is the most dangerous and oldest game. Which is... I wonder where the Widowmine is, featuring dead oracles. So, the beautiful part of this is if you win by not playing with the oracle, the only other way is death. I guess if you get 2 oracles, you might be able to actually... no, wait, you can't actually deal with the mines. You need a Phoenix. What am I saying? This was the meta for, like, a year or two, some years ago, was just every game, instead of doing a drop at all, you just put Widow Mines in random seeming places around the map. Increasingly ridiculous ones, because players would just use nearly insane pathings to try to avoid them. At some point it got out of hand. Honestly, it feels kind of like 3cc in TVZ, which I was very glad to see Raynor finally punch Beyond in the face. Because these Terran players, in Terran versus Zerg, just as an aside, just keep going 3cc with like 2 Marines and 2 Hellions. And I keep thinking, you know, that doesn't seem like a lot of units. And then Raynor makes like 4 Roaches and wins the game. To which I say, yeah, that's what I thought though, right? Like, it is kind of that meta, but with Widow Mines, where like, you can't just make random Widow Mines the whole time. At some point, players just stop making oracles. That was the solution. You just don't go oracle. Guys, oh my god. Okay, I thought it was gonna work. At some point, you just sidestep that whole ordeal. This time, Maru, he lost all 3 mines with no damage, so he didn't lose the medevac. But, yeah, Showtime shuts down the Minecraft gameplay as soon as possible and moves into... I mean, we're on Moondance, which means it's very likely you're going to get 3 bases up. Maybe 4, as the natural is a hard choke point here. Past that, though, it's a late game map. A lot of the time you'll see it vetoed. I'm actually kind of surprised to see it in a best of 3, though it is Terran versus Protoss. The summary is neither player can do serious aggression. They're both heavily invested in their infrastructure. Maru is building a reactor on his starport. He's getting tanks. He's got a Raven. He's just now getting +1 weapons. Whereas Showtime is focused on Phoenix, Colossus, maintaining air control so the Colossi can headbutt their way, can work their way to victory and aren't nearly as vulnerable to things like Vikings. On paper, Phoenix Colossus is the best composition against almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. Phoenix Colossus uncontested by those pesky bio units once you get enough of the Colossi, and not vulnerable to Vikings once you get enough Phoenixes. In practice, it's not perfect. In practice... Hey, what? Okay. I'm sorry. You'll forgive me. It takes a while for my brain to process that we're watching Phoenixes lift a landed Viking in Showtime's natural. But that's what happened. So it just had to parse that for a moment. Well, buckle up. We're going to a macro game. Last time I saw Maru versus Showtime in a macro game, Showtime lost 400 Zealots. But not the match, as he battered down Maru's defenses in a bit of a reverse of their nicknames, and took 3/4 of the map. So far, we're on track. Templar Archives, Armory, +1, Ghost Academy, +1, you know, everything. A scan spots both forges. The Robo Bay does not see the actual army moving across. The mines, both armies moving out. The Raven has nearly full energy. 2 interference matrices, maybe an anti-armor missile. And the interference matrix can disable the Colossi, potentially in this fight. And that I think makes all the difference at this stage. There are only 2 Colossi. Maru, he actually picks up his tanks into the... Yeah, tanks, you need a critical mass. Maru loves tanks in this matchup, and I love him for it. Tanks actually the more reliable counter to Disruptors and Colossi, but they're also way riskier. As compared to Vikings or Liberators, by the way. They're way riskier because they can be killed by Charged Lot Archon. But they're more reliable because, in general, like, they can hit the rest of the army effectively, and they support the bio units. As well as kind of having more range. Of course, ranged Liberators are quite good as well, but a critical mass of tanks can have greater effect than Liberators or Vikings, and are less easily countered, but are also much harder to use. Like that, the risk-reward is higher on both fronts. We've only really seen Maru doing it, too. Like, it's Maru, so your grain of salt / maybe he's who we should be following, but Maru loves the tanks. Showtime is, well, he's taking most of the map. Maru's taking his 4th. How many tanks on the field? 5. He's not building any more at the moment, but he hasn't flipped off the tech lab yet. And he hasn't built any Liberators. He's going for Vikings to try to contest the Phoenixes. This does look like one of those Okay, Showtime's lost 5 probes in 10.5 minutes. He may lose his first non-probe. A Zealot. It definitely won't be the last. Alright, I'm just kind of getting rid of some adepts here. No, you're not breaking that. That's a planetary, 5 well-spread siege tanks, a Raven, ghosts, and turrets. That's gonna be a no. That's gonna be a fleet beacon, is what it's gonna be. For better or worse. The fleet beacon is the choice. And we're going to Sky Toss. We'll see. Tempest, carriers, mothership. What's the option? Maru says not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new command set and fusion 4 as the Liberators begin production. Will it be advanced ballistics, rapid reignition thrusters? Probably advanced ballistics. Maybe Yamato. No, probably not Yamato. Okay, we'll see though. It's carriers from Showtime. Wow, we're just no rush. The last game ended in 11.5 minutes. This game, a recall. Okay, this is Maru freeing up supply. If he gets a Colossus, oof. Unfortunately the Protoss don't have the technology to repair their own Colossi. The Terrans have that patent. In team games, you can actually repair your teammates' mechanical units as a Terran. Fun fact. I don't think Maru's gonna lend him any SCVs to repair, though. So, unfortunate for Showtime. The upgrades are filling in. The armies adding more and more of those high-level mechanical units. Maru just shot his own siege tank. So I said he was a fan of tanks, but I'm pretty sure he saw the fleet beacon. Yeah, he saw carriers building, so that does reduce the value of the tank somewhat. The tank count, he's lost, well, he lost 1. The turret's on the way. Before even really fighting here, It's time to raise my TPM. Vikings, Liberators, Storm, +3, whatever. Oh my god. Maru has 21 turrets. And counting. Showtime building 6 cannons. Well, this is one of those games that... Oh, the Showtime just blasted his low-health Colossus. You know, once you start killing your relatively important, expensive mechanical ground units, that's when we know we're going straight to the late game, alright? Maru killing his tanks, Showtime killing his own Colossi, the bio units sent out on suicide missions. It's like, we can't repair, so... That's all Maru's doing. Getting any damage is... he's deemed it unlikely. The command center count is now in double digits. We're at 26 plus turrets. I would be... High-sec auto-tracking and building armor should be coming up soon. Templar. Yeah, do we have all the upgrades yet, guys? The air upgrades are still lagging behind, but they're well on their way for both sides. Maru playing the campaign. Vikings! EMP, though, prevents the storms. Are there any more? Oh, he had one. That wasn't a sentry. That storm does a lot of damage. The EMPs. Snipes on the Templar. Well, here we are. Let's take a look. In that battle, 3 carriers went down. And 2 High Templar against just 6 Vikings. Which means Maru took a much larger chunk out. Of course, they've mined tens of thousands of minerals and gas and counting, so... We're still far from the point where we start counting exactly how much gas is left. But this is one of those games I would not be the least bit surprised to see us get there. Does that observer have speed? Yes, he does. Those gravitic boosters online. Oh, revelation on the fleet here. Oh, disruptor! Oh, a very unlucky ghost. A lot of incredibly hard counters here. We've got Templar countered by ghosts. Ghosts countered by disruptors. Disruptors countered by liberators. Liberators countered by Skytoss, and Skytoss countered by Vikings. Vikings countered by Templar. Templar countered by ghosts. Ghosts countered by... I'm sorry, let me put the Prima strategy guide down. Tempest, a little more guaranteed damage. I do think carriers become a liability a lot earlier than players think. Alright? The carriers are a rich man's unit. When you have 4,000 minerals or something a minute, sure, you can go carrier. Rapid reignition thrusters! Medevac speed! I don't even know if he has... He has 3 medevacs. It's happening! Thank you, Maru. He's also getting high-sec auto-tracking. I mean, how many orbitals now? He's got 11 orbitals. I'm pretty sure he can scan twice at a time, indefinitely. And he's going to take advantage of that. Maru just has semi-limited map hacks, and it only cost him a few thousand minerals. There's nothing Showtime can do bar killing the orbitals, which I don't think is going to be first priority. A nuke! Yeah, I see the question. Is Maru missing anything? I can't believe you missed the nuclear missile in the Ghost Academy. But that certainly is something that... Well... another Ghost Academy, which has some radiological implications. There's only one reason to get more than one Ghost Academy, and not to have an easier to access campus. Oh god, the EMP does ridiculous damage. It strips away the shields of 80 supply of units. The shield battery overcharged, but a nuclear missile is launched onto that base. The nuke may finish off the Nexus, but the EMP... Yeah, the nuke's... Wow. Thank you for the cinematic experience, Maru. The nuke gets the kill. 2 nukes in production. The siege begins. The Tempests try to drive it back, but the Vikings a massive danger. They can unload so many disruptors at the edge. Both these armies incredibly capable of obliterating one another in seconds. Storm softens up some Vikings. Showtime managing it well. The Oracle serving an incredibly important purpose in keeping vision on everything. The scans also. Another nuke. Trying to push the base. Forcing the issue. The Ghost is quite exposed here. Is Showtime just going to give it up? Showtime. The probes. Actually only loses 8 probes, which, like... wow. That's kind of sad. He doesn't even move. The radius is a lot smaller than it seems. The boys are pulled! Now Showtime moves the probes. So far, this fight has not claimed that much in the way of gas. Showtime just rotating between. +3 most... Oh, Raven goes down. Full energy Raven. Some turrets up here as well. Maru probably looking to get rid of some of these SCVs. He's taken the top right corner. He's expanded quite aggressively since he maxed out. Disruptor shots to ward away. Only half a dozen spellcasters for each side they have to control, give or take. Oh, there's a lot to handle here. The Tempest darting back and forth. Oh, Disruptor shots fade away. Direct hits. Oh, Maru trying to move forward, but the ghost count has already been dwindling. He still has some more, but those Disruptors dealt with the bio cover. Maru, stepping a little too aggressively forward, will pull back and do the cover nuke. Will Showtime let it go? The Revelation? Can he get the ghost? He fires the shots. Oh, he misses the ghost, and the nuke makes everyone slightly uncomfortable. The SCVs are here, a couple tanks on the low ground. Many of the Vikings softened up. A storm, another storm. The SCV is taking the damage. The Vikings historically weak to storm. A lot of damage dealt. EMP on most, if not all of the Templar. Okay, well, okay, Showtime has reserves. Very important. Showtime this isn't his first late game rodeo. He's got way more Templar, half a dozen in reserve, charging energy. Right, the ghost, dangerous. Feedback, storm, EMP off the mark. Maru has 12 orbitals now, and 3 planetary. 15 command center. Oh, the snipes. In the left flank, there's an observer. Storm hits every Viking. The benefit of being able to stack up is not always an upside. Showtime looking to claim his half. The last bases are being built. More disruptors. Gets a tank. Whatever. Another nuke. Fires the shot. The nuke is still looking to land. A pretty good positioning on that ghost. More storms. Showtime will pull back, but honestly, Maru kind of... Watch out for the... Wow, that didn't even hit the Oracle at all. Another nuke! Shield battery overcharge. You gotta be, whoa, that's gonna be close! Wow, rarely do you see that. The Ghost had already painted the target for long enough that the nuke would land, even after the Ghost is obliterated. Well, Jimmy... Yep, looks like the guide is working out on this game. Maru understands the matchup. The Ghosts clean things up. Right now, it's 11 Ghosts and 28 Vikings with a smattering of other units. 7 Liberators is notable. Against 6 Raptors, 3 Carriers, 5 Tempest, 11 Templar. The worker supplies are dwindling, which I think is mostly intentional. This Nexus is not going to make it. Oh, the EMPs. Wow, getting real forward with the Ghosts. And just restarts. It seems like it's going to be... I mean, Showtime has 15,000 minerals in the bank, so he can afford to rebuild a Nexus or 10. A scan. He spots units moving on the sensor tower and sees their probes. To which he's like, oh yeah. As Maru's sensor towers. Oh, a nuke. Oh, he's just going. Whoa, okay. Well, that nuke, the Ghost died immediately. Whoa, Maru's just... What's going on? What are we doing? Both sides, like, they need a breather. Okay, they've had too much time staring each other down. They need some space, both of them. But it looks like we're heading towards round 2. And this is a bit of a risky position for Showtime out here. Yeah, Showtime has 23 gateways. So if he does need to go to ground units, he is capable of warping in 46 supply at a time. Yeah, Showtime doesn't have tectonic destabilizers. The Tempest anti-building option, that's a great point. Which is one of the few times I can call that a straight-up mistake. As right now, being able to remove turrets and buildings in general quicker. Planetaries, you know, one of them. That nuke, though. That nuke, though. That Ghost. That nuke. Hello? Well... The nuke lands and Showtime backs off. He doesn't lose any units. The nukes are starting to get dangerously close. Not that that's an indicator of how they will end, but... DT Blink on the way. I wonder if Showtime's just starting to click on his buildings. Like, what did I forget? The Dark Shrine is right next to the Fleet Beacon as well. So if you were looking, I'm just saying. Oh no, the Oracle EMP'd and just knocked out of the sky. 2 more Oracles built. Showtime's bank is insane. He's lost almost exactly the same amount, in fact a little bit less gas, as nukes cost 100. This Immortal, he walled in the Immortal. How is this even possible? How did you do this? Is it like... Oh, they're just idiots. The nuke lands. Showtime gonna try to ward away. The Liberators respond. The base didn't... Okay, it's a huge mistake not to have tectonic destabilizers now. The Tempest absolutely could have killed that. No question. I can't believe that Planetary's still alive. The EMP on all the DTs, they immediately die. That's 1,000 gas gone. The EMP on, like, everything. Where are the Templar? More storms. The Vikings split back into the storm. More storms. More damage. Bio Army. Tempest knocked out. Approximately every single stalker on the goddamn planet just got warped in. All right. a bit of a mess, and that's a bit of an understatement. Overall, 6,700 to 4K, both sides, even losses in terms of resources. But I think the tie goes to the leader here with Showtime. Well, he has the mineral bank. 17 more stalkers warped in. He's suddenly up to 38 stalkers. And Maru's making 9 liberators at a time. A lot of them are being built over here, just firing up. You gotta be careful with those disruptors. The liberators pop out in a less than convenient location. Maru has almost no gas. I think we may have to go back to the early game armies, like Bio versus Stalker. Well, there's a lot of disruptors still, but the bases are taken out. The Liberator count is uncomfortably high. He's fighting into it. They do have +3/+3. It is... those are +3 Liberators. They 2-shot Stalkers. 1 shot with EMP. So if they're set up before the fight starts... Ooh. Pylon depowered. Nexus down. Maru with an incredibly potent army. But he doesn't have the bank. The charge lots, surprisingly few for a Showtime game, have been lost. But now he's starting to lean on them, as he has, you know, about 120 in the bank, so... This Nexus will be taken for approximately the 14th time. The Liberator count, he's got 11 Liberators here. Maru's able to chase him down because his army supply is huge, splitting against the Ruptors. The fadeaway shots aren't doing it. More shots come out. Fall short. A Liberator zoning out the rest of the ground. 160 army supply for Maru, but nothing in the bank. He needs to reestablish his bases and try to limit Showtime as much as possible. Stalkers. Oh, well that, I mean, Stalkers can't fight anything at this stage on their own. Maybe Liberators that are unsieged. A nuke he's really working on. Will Showtime notice? Every nuke has been where the fight is. He noticed. I bet he noticed immediately and only waited till the nuke was landing. This base, still no tectonic destabilizers on those Tempests, but they're perfectly good against the units. The Liberator count, 11, 7 Vikings, 8 Tempests, another nuke. You see, when the Ghost nukes itself, it's harder to see. The Ghost goes down alongside 13 probes, and honestly, Showtime isn't mining that much anymore. And Showtime doesn't have mules. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but he has marginal gas income. And Zealots don't do anything against these armies. Against Liberator Ghost? No. No, it's just not, no, it's not happening. So Zealots, you can't rely on just Zealots here. Maru moving around. He's keeping himself in it. He didn't lose a critical mass of units. He lost the bases, but he'd rather sacrifice we're taking this Nexus for... he's lost 6. I don't know how many were canceled. The Disruptor count, 10. Liberator, sieged up, got 9 more probes. Showtime actually quite light on the probe count here. The Liberator's caught transferring over another base of Maru's. Disruptor re-angles, looking for more. The Ghost vulnerable, not quite landing. Storms coming through. Liberators unloaded on the ground army. The Stalkers wandering the wrong way. A broadside of Disruptor shots finds a huge chunk, but 3 disruptors taken out between a rock and a hard place. Another shot clips the front line. Liberator anti-air being used. Stalkers force back. Maru chasing. Huge warping of charge lots. 23 gateways worth. Liberators, though, the overlapping Venn diagram of ridiculous freedom is enough to zone the charge lots out for now, and Maru's army supply is just too much for Showtime to battle through. He might be able to get around the back of the Liberators. Maru not repositioning. He knows where the army is, realizes the Liberators are in a vulnerable location, and has to back off. Showtime, neither player. There's nothing left in the gas bank. The Stalkers move to the side. The Liberators sieged up in a bit of an awkward spot. The sheer amount of gateway units right now. The Liberator's still backing off. Storms off the mark, hitting only Protoss. Maru backed in towards his natural between multiple command centers. The Liberators re-siege. Only 4 left. More in production. Zealots are being warped in, but it's still not something Zealots can beat. It's still an incredibly tough scenario for Zealots. He killed most of the Liberators. That army, Maru, did way better. But Showtime has the bank, and he still has the standing army. He still has a handful of Templar. That handful, 3, but with near full energy. There are some ghosts. EMPs on the Zealots. Showtime's bank, once it was 15,000 minerals. Now, less. If the Planetary can kill some of the Templar, he's not paying attention on that, so he's busy setting up on Showtime. Why are your games always like this? This is... Why is Showtime like this? He can't quite close it out, but he also doesn't die. He's at 182 supply, and that was the last warp-in, by the way. He has no more income. He's not going to warp in off that many gates ever again. At least this game. Oh my god, that's so many Zealots. Stalkers blinking forward. 1, 2. Liberators down. Disruptor shot curves around the corner. Doesn't find it, but the Stalkers deal with it. Splash damage hitting both sides. Disruptor still point-blank range. Templar. The Disruptor count is too damn high. Maru is pushed back to the racks. He has very few minerals and even less gas. Maru desperately mining. Showtime looking for any of these orbitals. Maru has some mules, but he's about to lose most of his income. There's a handful of mineral patches, like 1,000. I told you we might have to start counting the minerals. Well, now's the time. Those banks drained pretty damn quickly here. The Disruptor count 4. A single Templar. Maru still very much has a winning army. But he only has 1 SCV, so that could end up being a problem. Maru is at 1 SCV, Showtime's at 14 probes. Here we are again. Observer still spotting most of this, breaking through the barracks wall. Maru is going to try to hold. He's decided to draw a line here. Showtime sees it. Maru doesn't know how many probes are left. He's trying to bait out Disruptor hits. Incredible EMPs, but the Disruptor hit! Oh no! And gets the ghosts! They're landing now that Maru has no choice. Oh, those were some of the best hits of the game at the most important time. Still enough Tempests to force the issue. Another EMP. No Vikings. Maru kind of going back and forth at some point. Oh, he splits, loses a ghost or 2. He can't keep eating hits. 2 more Disruptors pop out. Showtime is only building Disruptors now. With all the money he has, which is probably a good investment. Throws in a Templar. Shield battery overcharge. Can reshield the Nexus. He's spending it on all the units. Maru holding, the tanks moving up. The Bio Ball. Gotta be careful of those Raptors. Disruptor shots. Oh, he targeted him with the tanks. It was just enough. Maru is closing the distance. Another Ruptor, but it didn't. Another shot. Clips a bunch. Maru's still making the difference. Another Ruptor, and Maru is crumbling. Oh, he almost broke it at the end with nothing left. Showtime. His last units. He's down to 3 Disruptors, 3 Tempests. But Maru had 3. Maru ends the game at 3 SCVs and 2 Marines. The times of plenty ended. He just couldn't quite. Oh my! Wow. Yeah. Okay. We are. We're all tied up. Showtime. At this point, I'm just going to pre-title every Showtime match Game of the Year. All right? And only if enough people disagree, I will change the title. That's what I'm going to do. And we're just, instead of picking from the best games of the year, we're just going to show all of Showtime's matches and pick from that. Sound good? All right. Everybody on board? Game 3. Maru. 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 Maru! Maru is not having it. Okay, he's tilted. I know this is a Maru classic, but that last, oh my. It's Stargazers, a map which can easily end up in a similar scenario to the last game. In fact, is even more likely. We've already seen 2 games of the year. You're like, you mean Showtime or games? I know what I said. From Showtime on this map, which went the distance from facing Clem to Cyril. It's Maru's turn. No, Showtime is not surprised. Disappointed, maybe, but not surprised to see exactly 0 barracks in Maru's base. It's not like he's being particularly subtle. He puts the bunker next to the pocket minerals because this gives him a higher chance of being in the spot where the probe can hit. Also known as bullshit. That's the technical term. Showtime just doesn't bother. He knows the Reaper's coming out. Oh, beautiful micro on the probes. He is building a Stalker. I'm really surprised that Maru backs off. Doesn't go for probe kills. I guess he's assuming an adept. Oh my god, he built a Marine too. Disgusting. He pops out the SCV into the pocket here, which can dodge Stalker or adept shots. Showtime with the battery pawn on. Well placed. Gonna spawn it. This is, on a scale of 1 to annoying, like, this isn't my car got a flat tire. But it's really cold and I gotta warm it up and it's gonna take like 15 minutes and then like, do I really have to get out and scrape my windshield? Hey, those of you who know winter know what I'm talking about. Like, it's annoying. It's gonna take a bit. We're getting there, all right. It's nearly fall. Some of you can relate. Increasingly less. All right. Well, down goes 1 Reaper. Battery overcharge. You gotta kill the SCV, right? Like, maybe not. No, you can get through with the overture. He gets out. SCV feeling very abandoned right now for all its hard work. It dies. Wow, he let 2 batteries finish? Maybe he's expecting a follow-up push, which would not be surprising. But Maru, just expanding. And what's in there? 2 Widow Mines. Oh no. Oh wait. Maru messed up! The probes actually pushed the Widow Mine a bit before Maru started burrowing it. And that allowed Showtime to secure the kill on both. Wow, this is bad. Like, the bunker didn't do that much. Showtime dealt with it. Once again, he scraped his windshield. And now he could see out of it, and he could see the Widow Mines and how to deal with them. Very important. To stick with the analogy. So far, Maru has done very little to slow Showtime in general. Especially compared to what Maru has at home. Maru delayed his command center. He proxied his racks. He built a bunker. These are not idle investments. He didn't... Oh my god. He knows. He saw it. That was definitely... He saw it. He knows. There's the hidden mine. Crouching behind the add-on over there, waiting for its moment, but... He's faking Cloak right now, is Maru. I expect the Revelation goes away and he cancels it immediately. There's no way he lets that finish. The mine's underneath here. Sees the 3rd CC, delays it. Maru? Make me look smart, Maru. Cancel the Cloak. Maybe he just leaves it till it's about to finish. I don't know. He's already... There's no way he's going Banshee. Blink on the way. Showtime not biting with... Well, he already has shield batteries at the NAD, so... What? Maru! You don't... What? He's going Banshee against someone who opened Stargate and Oracles? Okay. No, okay, alright. I think Maru kind of zoned out for a second there. He actually started... Like, he may have convinced himself he was going Banshee and then forgot why he started Cloak in the first place. It happens to the best of us. And also me. Showtime a little suspicious. Scouting around every base. Hallucinated Phoenix. Very diligent. This also shows you he's quite confident in his position. He's kept track of the main. The only thing that could really threaten him is something from an angle he doesn't expect. He's got 69 probes, which is a nice number to springboard that economy. He's got double robo. How many forges? Just the one. Adding on a second. Right now, the focus... Whoa! Oh, he sees it. He knows. Yep. The focus needs to be on just building up that production, that infrastructure. He doesn't need more probes. He needs more units to make sure that Maru can never do any real damage. Blink is finishing. +1. He's going to keep that aggressive defense out there. Make sure Maru... Okay, well, that Marine quite stressed. But don't worry, it won't be stressed for long. Because it's super dead. I do like the intimidation there. Just leaving him, hanging out. Observer spots a Widow Mine. Gonna give away the Observer position, but killing the mine is more than worth it. And also, Maru assumed there was an Observer there, I'm sure. Wow. Just lets him do that. Oh my god. Did he forget? Did Maru forget? He waits out the blink cooldown. There's no vision. He has no idea. It's not like this is going to be game-ending damage, but... Oh, no. Well, the thing is, this can easily backfire. He's trying to blink out. We get all the way out. The blink cooldown. 3, 2, 1, and out of there. And he got away with it. Well, that wasn't nearly as much damage as it could have been, but Maru wasn't moving out yet. I was wondering if Showtime might wait till Maru moves out to come in, but Blink Stalkers are not something that you really counterattack with. That's a charge lot's job. Well, Maru is setting up his defenses, but I think Showtime is in a very capable position to test them. He's in a very capable position to actually attack. There's not nearly as good of a platform for defense as there is on Moondance. There is, and there just isn't the sheer amount of units there were either. So, ooh, losing an Oracle certainly doesn't help. There's 4 Colossi out. More tanks. How many tanks? We got 6 tanks. You do need a lot of charge lots. And Maru's target fire is the best, so you get those Colossi in range, or Disruptors, and the tanks will definitely find them. Gravitic Drive, Prism Speed. This is how you open up the defenses. The Warp Prism. Warping in a dozen charge lots or more to the back of the main. Tried and true for the last 12 years, especially if they don't have any turrets, which Maru just seconds late. Okay, all right. You got a permit to be in this base? He dropped... Okay, Maru, like, why are you being so stingy? You have 5 medevacs here. What is he... Why... what are you... typical group project. Was he trying to pretend like he... I don't know about this. I guess it worked. EMP plus tanks. I don't know, Kev. Oh, that tank. Oh, gets away from the second Ruptor. You see, that empty police truck was hiding 17 police cars behind it. The typical bamboozle. Maru trying to pull off. Maru sending 50 supply of medevacs out right as Showtime is knocking on his door. Which is... He does have tanks. He's got quite an entrenched position. But to say this is risky is definitely an understatement. As Showtime is breaking through, recall exists. The scan. Showtime is already preparing. He's got cannons. He's got a shield battery. But the magnitude of bio units. Recall to the main. Everyone, you're invited. Let's go. The gateways. Wow, he's making the design everybody made in middle school with the S. You know, with the fancy S, except he's doing it with warp gates. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. At least 30% of you know what I'm talking about. Look here. Well, the medevacs? Oh, you know, ghosts aren't important. We can just leave those. Those are fine. Don't worry about that. He loses 3 ghosts at the watchtower. Yeah, the S is for Showtime. I'm sorry. I apologize. He's just claiming the map. Whereas the only M units Maru is using is for Maru. Don't try to find meanings and things that... Maru, what the hell are you doing? He triple scrambles disruptors, but... Yeah, that was just a straight up mistake. That was a throw. 3 medevacs of units. I don't know why they were still hanging out, but select all army into stalkers. That's just... There is no justifying that. That was a mistake. He's human. That game 2 was a long and arduous one, and Maru was doing everything he can to prevent it from happening again. Unfortunately, that is not helping his position, as Showtime now has the gold. The disruptors. So disruptors can technically, they have similar range to tanks. You can technically hit them. You can't outrange them, but you can kill them before the tank kills a Ruptor. Okay, so he's blinking in with disruptors. The Raven is with the army, so he actually sees the DTs, but everyone's piling in from every side. Another incredibly valuable medevac here. Full of important units. Planetary under attack. Maru is not really sprinting to defend. He is now. The reinforcements blasted. Maru is crumbling. The tank count is not high enough to ward off all these robo units. The planetary is dead. Another volley of disruptors. Maru wasn't target firing him. Zealots from the back. More Ruptors in the midst of everything. But actually though, despite all of this, Showtime ends up losing many of his key units. Because with EMP and tanks, the Protoss army crumbles. It was not a great fight for Maru, but he actually ends up coming out on top economically. Wait. Maru... Why are we tracking Maru as destroying his own units on this? That's kind of... I'm not exactly sure how this graph works, but I don't know why Maru... What, did Maru shoot his own medevac full of units? It's not impossible the way it's been going this game, but... Oh, the EMP onto the DTs, with the DTs onto the EMPs! EMP go... Well, it sounded more dramatic that way. A bit of a counterplay. Blink Stalker Disruptor on the field, and he has enough Stalkers to do it. You really need to have, like, strong double-digit Stalkers to even pretend to pull this off. Another Disruptor. Maru is once again in an awkward position economically. Showtime is comfortably mining the gold. That is just a lot of gateway units. EMP hits everything, but the disruptors are flung out. Those tanks are obliterated at the start of the fight, which means the end is looking bleak for Maru. He taps it out. Showtime with a pretty commanding victory in the final match. Maru not able to hold it together after that second one. We've seen a streak of tough games against Protoss lately. That was... honestly, didn't play like Maru in that last match. But still, Showtime showing he can go the distance, holding the line, and taking Maru out. Let's not belittle that victory as the wall holds. I don't know. What do you think? What happened? What went wrong? Thank you for watching. Thank you, Team Liquid and Shopify, for the Starleague. Like, subscribe, check out this video. Do you think this video is even better than that last one? I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.